All right, now we are moving to our Hall of Fame inductees, finally, the crown jewel of the evening. Each inductee will be introduced by a short video, and our first video is for Ginny Martino.
Head coach Ginny Martino, the all-time winningest coach in Division II. She's reached the NCAA championship game 10 times in her 25 years as head coach with 2 national titles.
She graduated from UMass, but she is synonymous with Westchester. 22 seasons, 331 wins, winningest coach in Division II women's lacrosse history.
I mean, she has a tremendous record in the conference and out of the conference on a season basis, and the number of times she's been in the NCAA playoffs. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind she's not a Hall of Fame coach. And national recognition is, I think, really to us in athletics is something.
She's gotten her team to the national championship game every other year on average.
It's unbelievable what she has done with that program, just year in and year out, in terms of the numbers they put at the games won.
Ginny took a chance on me as a player, as a freshman coming in, the way that she used to talk to me and work with me a lot. She always had something to work on. I was a player who needed kind of that feedback, but more of the toughness. I think she was very tough on me, and playing under her, she is always demanding the best in the best way. But it was always something. What meant a lot to me was she always had great feedback to say, and she would always pull me aside. And as a player, that just felt the trust.
Ginny made me feel special from the beginning, and it really kind of solidified my reason for coming here. Ginny valued the whole experience in overall. She cared about our academics. She cared about our family connection. She cared about our social lives. So she really wanted us to win on the field and off the field.
And Ginny never let up on kids. I mean, she made sure they were doing the right things, not necessarily just in lacrosse, but in the classroom and on campus and everything else.
She's very down to earth. So, if you want to approach her, she's very approachable. I never felt afraid to go to her with a question or a situation I needed help with. So, being very approachable, it kind of breaks down those barriers. The environment that she produces on the team, it just feels good. You feel like you're part of a team. You're not out there alone. You have 11 other girls out there with you that are, supporting you, cheering you on.
And, Ginny being a mom too, she's just a family. She really wants to get to know us, and she could tell when one of us were having a bad day or off day, and she knew either she knew who to talk to and who not to talk to on those days, and I really took that in on how she handled each player differently, and that's what I do as a coach now. I really have to look at it, and I really take note of who's one who needs that extra love or who needs to be just kind of left alone for a little bit. And I think she did a good job of balancing that, and even just her walking around her stick, clicking her sticks, it was just kind of like a reset for some of us.
Super proud of her for being, just the most winning coach in Division II, for all she does for the sport, being so family oriented too. I remember being on the team with, her kids, Ryan and Jordan, on the sidelines for almost, every practice, every game. Watching them grow up throughout those 4 years. I still see them out there on the sidelines now. Her mom and dad, or dad taking photos of every game. It's just really special, So I think that just adds to the experience, adds to her commitment to the sport, to the players that she coaches. As much as she cares off the field, she cares off the field. Absolutely deserves this recognition.
So in my research on Ginny, the family aspect has come up time and time again. The real atmosphere of welcoming and family, and her players being able to have a years-long hiatus and come back to the group chat and still just pick it up as if it was nothing. There's a mystique around a lot of the people that win this award, and I think Ginny is like a great just embodiment of that mystique. She's been running the same play for 25 years, and no one has been able to figure out how to defend it. That is a quote from someone who will remain nameless. But Ginny, welcome to the dais. Come on up.
Okay, we've actually tweaked that play a little bit. Wow, this is awesome. To be honest, when Mandy called me earlier this year, I was kind of hoping she was calling to invite me to come down here and coach with her in Florida. I really think I could handle the weather here. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined the real reason for that call. Words cannot express how appreciative and honored I am to be here tonight. I want to thank the committee for believing that I'm worthy of this honor. But for me, it makes it extra special that I am being inducted alongside Julie and Jim.
What made Julie so special as a coach was...
I had the pleasure of coaching against Jim when he was at Gannon a few years ago, and with his ridiculous winning percentage, I wanted to see how we matched up coaching against each other. I had to go back to the archives, like way back to the dark ages. And I'm happy to say that in our 4 games, it was in my favor 3-1. And that one loss coming in overtime, so that doesn't even really count, does it? Right? I certainly missed him when he made the move to Salisbury, but clearly he's done okay there. Unfortunately, I don't know Julie that well, other than by her reputation, of course. But I actually do have 2 connections to UVA and Julie. One of my very first assistants, Kim Prendergast-Venzi, was an All-American goalkeeper at University of Virginia, and I believe played with you to win a national championship. And then years later, you coached her to win another. Freaking phenomenal. That's amazing. The second connection is that I grew up wearing University of Virginia lacrosse gear, believe it or not, like all the time. I had no real tie to the school, but since my name is Virginia and I played lacrosse, obviously my parents thought it was way too good to pass up. And for years, every holiday, they would gift me UVA apparel. I have to have more than Julie, I know I do. I am forever grateful to this game of lacrosse and the trailblazers that came before me to create a smooth path for my life's journey. Tina Sloan Green, Chris Saylor, Pat Genovese, Sue Stahl, Marge Watson, just to name a few. Because of their commitment and sacrifices, I'm here today and continuing to enjoy a career that I love so much. I'm absolutely humbled by this honor. However, it's not so much about me, but the incredible people I have been fortunate enough to surround myself with over the past 28 years. I was introduced to this game by my older sister coming home from junior high one day with this crazy wooden stick in her hand. She had just joined the lacrosse team, and I could not wait until I was in 7th grade to try it out for myself. I instantly fell in love with the speed, grace, and skill it took to play the game. She instantly quit the team. I remember the day my first coach in junior high school pulled me aside and handed me a plastic-headed stick. It was a Brine Magnum. She said as an attacker, it would give me more control over my shots. I recall the pushback I gave her because everyone else on my team were still using wooden sticks, and I didn't want to be different. But now I understand the potential she saw in me that I couldn't see in myself. Because of her forward thinking, I was able to experience the modern game before the rest caught up, and it definitely gave me an advantage into the game we now know. Less the boundaries, goggles, draw stick, possession clock, etc. But as I continued playing through the years, I had many influential coaches and great teammates along the way who made my passion for the game grow. I appreciate those role models that only young athletes dream of having. The friendships and memories that were forged on that high school field are ones that I will never forget. And if it weren't for the support of wonderful teammates, my journey to UMass, where I played my college career, would not have been possible. Those 4 years at UMass gave me the confidence I needed and the belief that anything was possible. I owe my coaching career to Westchester's former athletic director, Ed Matakovic, who trusted me enough to take over the reins of the program after being an assistant for 1.5 years, and Terry Beatty, my current athletic director, who continues that belief in me today. Having such unwavering administrative support has allowed me the freedom to succeed while making the program my very own, and I want to thank them for that belief in me. Now, I think we can all agree a coaching career is definitely a unique way to make a living. It is like strapping yourself into a roller coaster every year, knowing full well that the ride will take you to the highest highs and the lowest lows. Understanding that the twists and turns will be there, but never fully being prepared for it. Each season brings heroic victories and heartbreaking defeats. I have been through extremely rough times, sitting alongside my athletes in overcrowded churches, mourning the loss of siblings, fellow teammates, and friends. The devastation of these moments will forever alter the role you play as a coach, both on and off the field. It was in moments like these that my nonprofit organization, Lax for Life, was born, created as a way of supporting athletes' mental health while raising awareness for suicide prevention in young adults through the sport of lacrosse. In its 15 years of existence, Lax for Life has touched many lives and helped begin to erase the stigma surrounding mental health. Through the organization, I've had the pleasure of meeting some extraordinary people that have dealt with unbearable heartache, while supporting individuals and foundations that are making a difference and raising awareness to identify teens at risk. The sport of lacrosse being that connection to spark and continue the conversation. But just as you are experiencing your darkest moments and the roller coaster has hit rock bottom, you're still strapped in, and then for the remainder of that ride, you also reap the rewards as you ascend to the highest point. Winning 2 national championships, 15 conference championships, and 19 national tournament appearances are some of the incredible moments that come with a career in sports. The moments, the ride, the exhilaration of achieving the ultimate goal, or accomplishments that can't be duplicated anywhere else in life. As they say, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and I wouldn't change it for the world. This Hall of Fame honor is not so much about my ability to draw up X's and O's, but more so the phenomenal talent, dedication, and work ethic of my players. I certainly wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the incredible athletes and teams that I've had the pleasure to coach over the years. Those who showed up to celebrate with me tonight are the best of the best. I may be biased. Winning over 400 games certainly would not have been possible without the huge role they played in attaining that milestone. Good game plans will only take you so far, but it's the character and the determination of your players that win championships. And I am so blessed to have been a small part in the success these athletes have had, both on the field and off. And I will cherish the relationships and friendships I've made over the years forever, and for that I'm truly blessed. And what is a great team without great assistant coaches, right? And I've worked with some of the best. Coach Suze, who I was finally able to drag down here this year. came on board 20 years ago and has been essential in maintaining a winning tradition through her determination to succeed. I appreciate her hard work and commitment to our program, and we wouldn't be who we are or where we are without her. Many find it hard to believe not only has she stuck with me all those years, but we are the entire coaching staff. Somehow, some way, we find a way to get it done. And she has brought to our program exactly what we needed and continues to be a shining example of the love and pride for our sport. My career in sports would not be possible if it weren't for the love and support of my parents, who unfortunately were not able to be here tonight. They gave me every opportunity to succeed from a very young age. They supported every team, league, and club I ever wanted to join, allowing me to pursue my dreams and passions. Encouraging me when I wanted to join an all-boys baseball team and ice hockey league because there were no alternative opportunities for girls. Throughout high school, I was playing 8 different sports nonstop year-round. I can't imagine the wear and tear we put on that poor station wagon of ours. That aged me a bit, didn't it? We had a station wagon. Did somebody say, what's a station wagon? It's a really long, ugly car, and ours had wood on the side. What? It's like a moving den. It's so strange. Anyway, one of my greatest joys of my coaching career has been looking across the field at every home game and seeing my dad with his camera documenting each goal, emotion, and victory while my mom cheers us on holding her angel lacrosse pin. I think she's as superstitious as I am. It is remarkable to be able to continue sharing all these special moments with them. I also need to give a shout out to my late father-in-law for convincing me to take this job years ago. He would literally stop strangers on the street and tell them all about me. It was so embarrassing, but he would have loved this moment. Sorry. I couldn't do what I do without the amazing love and support of my family. My husband Dan, my son Ryan, my daughter Jordan, they are my rock and my biggest fans. As you all know, the work-life balance is a difficult one. But in our profession, with long road trips, tournaments, recruiting, there's a lot of time spent away from home. And I had an amazing support system when my family was young. And now that they are older, they support me in the best ways. And I can't thank them enough for that, and they are my world. I do have a piece of advice for the younger coaches in the room, as I have somehow become one of the oldest. Many of you will be fortunate enough to play for a championship in your career. When you do, think positive and dress accordingly. I made the tragic mistake of not thinking that through when we won our first national championship in 2002. I only learned of this brief oversight when I picked up my son at preschool the following week. His teacher was kind enough to pull me aside and let me know that during circle time, when all the kids were sharing stories, my son announced to his whole class that his mom had won a championship and had water dumped all over her, and you could see her penguin underwear. Granted, they were super cute penguins riding little surfboards. Needless to say, I had no idea tan shorts became see-through when you added water. So please learn from my mistakes. Protect yourself against preschool gossip. To my family, friends, coaches, and players that have come to support me here tonight, Thank you for the inspiration, encouragement, and love that has helped me grow and flourish in the best sport and job in the world. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you.
So Ginny's family is not only about, tradition, and she's not only about practicing it and fostering it among her players. It also is a real thing that's manifesting itself. Her dad was on the sideline taking photos, and there is now what I've heard through the grapevine is that her daughter Jordan is now on the sideline taking photos. So it's pretty awesome. Also, I'd like to formally inform you that we have started a petition to get you a bigger office to fit all of your trophies. So just stay tuned for that. I have some calls to make after this. Our next inductee is Julie Myers. Please direct your attention to the video board.
What made Julie so special as a coach was her relationships with the kids.
She really cares about the individual more than anything. She would just really want to get to know the individual, the student, before the athlete.
The wins and losses were definitely a big part of it, X's and O's and that kind of stuff, but I really think what she got the most joy out of was all of her relationships with the people that she worked with, the people that she coached, and watching them grow through the years was what I thought she took the most pride with. I think it was the foundation of the program for 30 years. Winning was great, but really for Julie, it really was about the process. It was being with the kids every day, watching them grow, getting them better, talking to them, getting to know them, watching them laugh, trying to teach them life lessons. For her, it was more about that, and if you did that, it took care of the winning.
I mean, it was the best thing ever. I got to see, growing up, almost all of their home games, a few away games. I'd go on the bus. I remember going to the Final Four with them in Towson. It was everything I grew up just knowing. It was all Virginia, mostly women's lacrosse too at the time. I will say she didn't make me. She actually really liked when I would play other sports. But she was always willing to go to a field with me, go take time out of her day after a long day for her, go to an indoor facility and go shoot for an hour and a half. Constructive criticism was a big thing too. Yeah, she always had the best intentions in mind, and I wouldn't be here without her.
She's very, very resilient. Anybody that knows her knows she is a true optimist. Annoying at times, but she always found the good in everything. So that was a blessing to be around someone that always believed in what we were doing. She makes you feel valued, and that is priceless when it comes to a boss or a manager. She just makes you feel like you matter and that what you have to say is important, and she believes in you. That is just more important than her record. And I think every single one of her colleagues would agree on that. I mean, she's just a class act.
And the champions of Division I Women's College Lacrosse are the Virginia Cavaliers.
I know how much time she put into it and how stressful it all really was. I mean, managing 40 girls all at once, as well as 3 kids, is a pretty hard task. And for her to be able to do that as well as she did, and to get this great honor, I couldn't be more happy for her. Yeah, from the bottom of our hearts, I know I can speak for Kevin and Kelsey. We couldn't be happier for her. We love you. Thank you for all the time that you've spent with us on and off the field and developing us as people.
Julie, I think, is the epitome of the work-life balance. We were on the rules committee for a few years together around that transition period of the shot clock and the self-start, and we had a lot of heated conversations in that room. But sometimes we'd get on a call, and Julie would come off mute and be like, "I can't barely hear you guys. I'm at the beach." But then we're at a meeting one year, and I stroll into the gym at about 7:30, me really congratulating myself, like I'm at the gym at 7:30. Julie's finishing up, And she's like, I would have thought to have seen you here at 6. And then just walks out. Congrats, Julie, come on up.
I do apologize. I have a bit of a cold. I had 0 voice 2 days ago, so I threatened all my Virginia people over there that they'd have to come up and accept this for me. I will say, congratulations to all the winners in the room. What we do is not for the weak. What we do is for the strong and for the people that want to continue to fight, push, create opportunities, and support the people that you do get to do it alongside of. From your coaches, to your players, to your family. I will say I never saw that video. I had no idea my son Timmy. I knew he loved me. I knew he was proud, but I had no idea that he could speak like that. And for those of you that know Timmy, I think you agree. He is, gosh, as a parent and as a coach, and to have this opportunity right now, I can't even read this because it doesn't even matter. It's about getting up, and it's about embracing whatever opportunity you get today. It's about embracing who you get to do it with, and it's about juggling. You know, I am a single mom of 3. So I had my daughter, Kelsey, who was a little toddler in that picture, and when we won the championship on Amy's last goal in that video, she didn't miss a game. She was on the bus, she was on the plane, she went everywhere we went. Our trainers helped, our families would come meet me at the field, they would keep Kelsey. When Timmy came around, it didn't really change. Timmy was then strapped into the seat next to Kelsey, and we all went together. And then all of a sudden there was a third, and I thought Colleen was going to kill me. Because it wasn't easy having 2 kids, let alone a third. My kids are all very nice, but my third is my angel. So I'm like, kind of glad that all worked out for me. But to be able to share the sport that has given me so much, that has clearly gave me my highest of highs. And that's, you know, truly winning is really, really fun, and it creates some bonds that last for a lifetime. But it's the everyday that you get from it. It's the everyday that you get to hang out with 18 to 23-year-old kids. They never get older as we get older. It is really a gift. My blood pumps, I do love Vegas. And I love game day music. Like, I hear that game day music, and it makes me think of all the players that ever played. I had a chance to be with a bunch of the players last weekend. They did this surprise celebration. And when Amy asked how many of us in this room are coaching, I bet you 90% of their hands went up. They were all either coaching their kids, a college team, a high school team, a club team. They all love the sport of lacrosse. And I love that my kids who grew up with lacrosse and with my teams and on the bus and on the fields and at the games, my teams always embraced them. And I love that they each had their own college team, they each had their own college bus, their planes, their games, their locker rooms. So what they grew up always looking up to and admiring and hoping to be a part of, they were able to create. They had a choice to love lacrosse or to resent it. They had to share me an awful lot. And they chose to love it, and they gave me the gift of letting them be able to work with them on a field. Never well when it was all 3 of them together. Usually Kelsey walked home, and Danielle, if you're in this room, you would understand she gets a little fiery. But the kids to love the sport that we love, everybody in this room, to be able to embrace and enjoy the opportunities that come through a sport, they do take you to the highest of highs. And as so many of you in this room know, it also takes you to the lowest of lows. My lowest was losing a player on our team during our season. I don't know how we got through it, other than the people in this room and the sport that was able to keep us together. I knew every time that we had a chance to play a game, to have a practice, we had that one more day to try to be okay, to try to remember, to love, to laugh, to trust, and to believe again. So to everybody that ever coached with me, and I have a bunch of you guys in the room, so I'm scared to say names because I'm probably going to screw it up. But I thank you for everything that you guys ever did, from helping me fly and soar. It was never about me. It was always about Colleen Shear, who worked with me for probably 22 of my, well, probably 27 of my 31 years. She not only helped me on a field but she also helped me like hire babysitters, find nannies. You know, it was not uncommon for me to have to go on a game and I didn't have a babysitter set up for the weekend, and like the bus driver would literally watch my kids. Andrew, I still actually talk to Andrew from time to time. But it's the little things. It's the players that always fought so hard so they could play one more game. You know, in May we didn't always win, but we had a lot of success and we played in every May. And that was because they loved each other, they embraced each other. They did the little things, they swept the corners. Amy loves that. They took advantage of every opportunity they had, and you know what? They didn't want to waste one day. They didn't want to not have that one more chance. So to everybody that played for me, thank you for giving me your heart and for trusting us. Colleen, for being my best friend, and for your family to be part of my family. It's an amazing honor. To the IW for this amazing opportunity. I am humbled and beyond floored. When Celine called me, I was actually walking into our bagel place, and I thought she was calling me about like 500 other things. But when she told me this, I couldn't even go in because I was so stunned. So thank you for putting me in this group. Sue, you've always been such a class act. I will say in '87 when you won, this is how far we've come. There must have been a Wednesday night game, because on Thursday we found out who was in the Final Four, which was our entire tournament, that Penn State would host it. On Friday we got on a bus, which meant everybody in the dorms who had no idea that there was a postseason tournament had to move out of their dorms. They put everything on a front yard. We got on the bus, we've traveled Friday, played on Saturday, lost, and then Penn State wins on Sunday. So from bid to champion, it was like 4 days. You know, but we didn't have film, we had still pictures from like one half of one game, if you played it at home. So it has come a long way. And as Sue had mentioned, change is scary, and change can be good. But you have to always remember that it's about the players and about the opportunity and helping support them as the players grow, and learn life lessons and learning the power of team and teamwork, and what sports can really do and create for people. So this change, you guys will figure it out. I obviously made a big change. I stepped away from coaching after 31 years, 28 years as a head coach. And to the coaches in the room, I want you to stay coaching for as long as you can. But I will tell you that there is life out on the outside. I went from being a head coach to a CEO. Who knew? Who knew? But I can tell you that your skills that you develop and the tools that you use each and every day, they stay with you forever. Doesn't matter where you work. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You will be winners, and you'll be champions, and you'll be grinders, and you'll be amazing teammates for whatever group you guys join next. So I hope you guys all have an amazing spring. I love now watching games because I can enjoy them and be proud as opposed to preparing for the next game. To my players, thank you. To my coaches, immense gratitude. To Ginny, I like that you wore Virginia stuff. And Kimpy's son actually dated my niece all through high school, so kind of a small world, Kim Prendergast. And to Jim Nestor, congratulations on your career. To everybody in the room, just keep it going. It's all about the kids and the players, and this is an amazing opportunity. So enjoy everything that comes with it. Thank you.
Julie, come on, get photos. Photo shoot. No, all good. So Julie's one of those people that I think doesn't know how not to make an impact. She left coaching, obviously made a huge impression as a coach, and now has moved on to be the CEO of the One Love organization. I had the good fortune to work with her directly with AU. They were an awesome partner to us this past season, and I know that her excellent work will continue in our sport. So congratulations. Our final inductee is Jim Nestor. Let's take a look.
It's such an honor to be included with so many great coaches when you're looking at the IWN, who's already into the Hall of Fame. So to be inducted, it's humbling first and foremost. so many people just along the way that, I'll be thanking during the banquet. But, it really goes to show, for me, is, that I've earned that respect from my other colleagues for what you've accomplished, over the years.
Jim Nestor as a coach is tough. He is competitive. He is passionate. He is driven. And all of those things are infectious. He makes you want to be better. Coach didn't put up with any of our crap. He didn't want to hear you complain. He didn't want you to whine. His expectation was that you went out there and you did your job. And he was going to give you all the tools, tips, and tricks to get there. And if you did that, you would be successful.
Coach goes into everything with just a workhorse attitude. He is putting his heart and soul into his job and into the players. He not only cares about our success on the field, but he cares about everybody's success after their career ends. I think it's really just sort of special to be a part of that and to really witness it on both sides. I felt that support while I was a student athlete, and now recognizing how much effort he actually does put into the team is really cool to see on the other side.
Over my coaching career, one of the great accomplishments I would say was really starting that lacrosse program at Gannon University. Our first season was in '96. But being able to go up there, started from scratch. They never had a club. Actually, Erie, Pennsylvania had no lacrosse idea what lacrosse even was in that area at that time. So to start that up, that first year, more than half of the team never seen a stick before. Teaching them, how to hold and pass and catch. Take that team ultimately to win ECAC championships, to ultimately making the first time Division II national tournament in 2001. I'd have to say that's probably one of the biggest accomplishments ever to do, to take that team from complete scratch to making the NCAA tournament, and how much time and work those players put in, back in that time.
He has inspired others and alum to give back to the game and to continue to coach, whether that's at the high school club, college level. I had a 15-year college coaching career, and I'd like to think that, he's very proud of what I did, but for me, he's a big reason as to why I got into coaching. When I was looking for a career change and made the decision to get into college coaching, it was about the experiences that I'd had. And my favorite times were being on the field with the people that I loved and, that you'd go into battle with. And he was a different kind of coach for me. He pushed me harder than anyone I'd ever had before. And while I hated it at the time, I respected him and what he was capable of, and I wanted to do that for other people.
The atmosphere and environment he creates makes you want to keep coming back for more. I mean, that's so much of why I came back. I was working over the bridge as a nurse, and then came to practice one day just to say hi to coach. It was me and one of my best friends who played here with me, and he was like, I need a GA next year. Are either of you interested? And the weird thing was I wasn't immediately I have a job. No. Something just pulled me towards I need to come back and be a part of Salisbury Lacrosse and continue that on and be, next to his side. What an honor. So I think a lot of it is just the team chemistry that he builds while you're here as a player that continues on, well after that. And so many girls that played together are still best friends well afterward.
Here at Salisbury, it's been a great run. I mean, again, going on 24 seasons, which is, scary to say the least how fast time goes. Great players over the years. Great players obviously make great teams, and that's something that, we're very proud of the things that we have accomplished, whether, whatever our record was, at the end of the day. And I'm really hoping that, when the players look back and they're seeing their time here at Salisbury, that they realize that, as a coach, I pushed them to be the best that they could be. By being pushed, we're able to reach those goals that they really didn't realize that they could do, at the end of the day.
Salisbury Lacrosse, kind of molded me into, how, the person I am. So much of that, I think, is from being here and playing under his direction. I really was kind of worried when I was coming back, am I gonna miss playing, right? I played for 4 years, some of the best times in my life, but experiencing it as a coach along with him is just a true honor. And seeing him inducted into the Hall of Fame, There's no person more deserving than that. I wouldn't want to coach anywhere else or with anyone else. Coach, from your past and your current players, we're also proud of you. This is such an honor, but we are not surprised in the slightest. You have worked so hard to get to this point, and there's only great things to come.
Thank you, Coach, for inspiring me to give back to the game, to continue to give back to the game. I am so incredibly proud of you and all that you have accomplished in your career, and there couldn't be a more deserving person who is having this honor. And I wish I could be there to celebrate with you, but more importantly, I'm glad that you're getting this award and this honor now at this time, and knowing just how much we all love you.
Well, good evening. One more to get through. You can do it, I believe in you. When I found out I was going last, and I had to follow two great coaches, and Ginny and Julie, congratulations. It's an honor to be going in with you both. Following two great coaches, two great speeches, I knew that they were going to say some things that I wanted to also say. So let me go through my speech and take out a few things so you don't have to hear it for a second or a third time. So they mentioned that, they talked about that, they thanked that person. But Liz and Danny, stand up, please. Liz and Danny Robichaud. Danny. Let's then give them a round of applause for everything they've done for us. Okay, well, that cut my speech down to about an hour, so we're okay. I, too, want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for this distinguished honor. I'm truly humbled when I think about the other great coaches, Sue Stahl, Carol Kleinfeld, Carol Cantelli, Jen Hawthorne, Division III, Sharon Abatisi and Jay. I'm truly honored. And to be the first male inductee makes tonight even more special. To all the Hall of Fame Committee members, thank you. I'm grateful and truly honored. I want to start off by thanking my parents, Jim and Shirley, and I'm a junior. My dad was a Washington, D.C. police officer for 25 years, captain of narcotics. When you're the son of a police officer, you learn that if you don't follow the rules, you don't follow directions, there are consequences. And me, being not the brightest or the sharpest tool in the shed, it took me a while to figure that one out. But that's my life and that's my mantra. I want to thank my mom, an incredible woman. Rest in peace. A homemaker, then worked at the University of Maryland for like 15 years. All along the way, she had her own cake business. She would bake a cake one night, wake up 5 a.m. the next day, decorate it, take it to work. Or work all week on a wedding cake, baking, decorating it, taking it to the reception, building a 3-tier high masterpiece. She was the epitome of hard work. Not once did I ever hear that woman complain. I just want to thank my parents for being great role models to me and my 3 sisters. So to shorten up this speech, I'm going to cut out thanking all the ADs that hired me over the years, how my high school coach gave us no water. When I was at Gannon, I had to line a field with duct tape. And a story when the first time I met Sue Stahl, she actually scared me. As we've heard tonight, there's so many great assistant coaches out there. I want to thank my assistant coaches. I've had so many over the years. Actually, my assistant coaches are graduate assistant coaches, so I'm replacing them every 2 years. But there's been a couple that have stayed on staff with me, and I want to thank Liz Marr and Kara Coolidge, as well as now Allie Heinsohn, that have stayed on with me after they've graduated. But as we all know as coaches, we can't do what we do without our assistants. And I'm so thankful for everything that they do to help me and my being more forgetful nowadays to get through the day and helping us, be successful. I also want to thank, obviously, all the parents, over time. I want to thank all the players that I've coached over the years. There's too many to actually name. But again, I have to thank them all for everything they've done and helped me get here tonight. I was talking to a former player just the other day. She asked me, Coach, when are you hanging up the whistle? I had to tell her, not soon. I love what I do. I'm passionate about this game. I love when I see a player improve from the first day to the last, from a freshman to a senior, and then them coming back as alumni and seeing what they're doing with their lives, and then bringing their kids back. It's truly special. So I had to tell her, I have a little bit longer time to go. Now, if we were to win the lottery, we might have to revisit that. So last, I want to thank the committee members one last time. I'm greatly honored and truly humbled. Thank you very much.
So while Jim is a religious attendee of the gym at 6 a.m., so Julie, if you're looking for someone to congratulate, it's not me, it's Jim. He's the one. He has gone after players. People slip on the field and say, "Oh, are you okay?" He goes, "Where are your cleats?" There is a clipboard within his grasp is unsafe. Whether it's over the knee or with the bare hands, the clipboard is no match for the fury. However, all of that intensity and purpose and grinding is juxtaposed with the other end, and this is from one of your former players, Holly Johnson. He is the first person I say when I get asked who was one of the greatest influences in my life. I hold him up on a very high pedestal, and I'm happy to see that others do too, and I'm so glad he's being honored going into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Jim. All right, everybody, we did it. We are at the end of our program. I want to just thank all of you for your attention, and I'm grateful to keep getting invited back. I don't know who keeps doing that, but someone does. This time that we get to share together and celebrate each other in the game that we love is really special. And every time I come into this room, I'm just really overwhelmed with like the crossover that I have. I have some of my own mentors in this room. Some of you were witness to my absolute demise last year when I just was bawling here on the stage talking about my head coach, Chris Mason. And then I see some players and some coaches that I have had the luck to coach and to mentor as well. And it's really special, and I think with everything going on in the landscape of our game and everything going on in the landscape of the world, this time is exceptional that we can just retreat to this lacrosse bubble of like super supportiveness, and we don't have to worry about any crazy stuff that's going on outside these doors. So go get him this weekend. Make some dreams come true. Be safe, and thanks so much. Good night, everybody.